stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem, led by Concord University's Concords. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Excuse me, please stand. I left out the national anthem. Now you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Vice President and Academic Dean, Dr. Peter Viscusi.
Thank you, Dr. Kreider, for your role as Grand Marshal in today's ceremony. Thank you also, Dr. Kelly Hudson and the Concords for their stirring performance of our national anthem, and Dr. David Ball and the Concord University Band for their prelude. On behalf of Concord University, I welcome you to our Founders Day celebration. Today we celebrate our 143rd year. Once a year, Concord University has the opportunity to celebrate Founders Day, to reflect on the rich legacy and history of the university, and to highlight the scholarship, creativity, and dedicated service of our faculty, staff, and students. Thank you for joining us on this special occasion. And now I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the 12th President of Concord University, Dr. Kendra Bogus.
Thank you, Dr. Viscusi, Dr. Kreider, the Concords, Dr. Kelly Hudson, Dr. Ball, and the Concord University Band, the faculty, staff, and students who come together today. I also want to recognize some special guests who've joined us, and if you'll stand when I call your name, I'd appreciate it. Mr. and Mrs. John Beckett, First Century Bank, Mr. Jim Brown, previous member of the Board of Governors, Mr. William Brown, special friend of the university, the Honorable Lisa Clark, Judge, the Honorable Sandra Dorsey, Magistrate, Dr. Michelle Gomp, member of the Board of Governors, Mr. and Mrs. Gary Hilton, a member of the Board of Governors, staff representative, Mrs. Rose Kessinger, the president of the Concord Alumni Association, Mr. Doug Maddie, the chair of the Concord Foundation Board of Directors, Ms. Sharon Manzo, Emeriti staff, Mrs. Kay Monahan, Alumni Association board member, Mr. Joe Rolls, special friend of the university, and Ms. Ronnie Wood, the Board of Governors student representative. Our purpose being here today includes 3 goals. One, we're going to take a few minutes away from our busy schedules and a whole lot of snow, and we're going to acknowledge the anniversary of the founding of Concord University. Concord was founded on February 28, 1872, so this month is the 143rd anniversary of that very special day. We're here at number 2 to recognize Concord's place in the domain of higher ed institutions. Concord has certainly impacted the lives of thousands of students from West Virginia, from nearly every state in the Union, and students from dozens of countries around the world. And number 3, we're here to recognize the contributions of our constituents in several categories of accomplishment that we most value: teaching, scholarship, and service. And there are others being recognized for teamwork, for student focus, spirit, and philanthropy. Without the persistent efforts of each of Concord's constituencies and their leadership and dedication to Concord's quality educational experiences that are designed to lead students to graduate school, to successful careers, and to service in their communities, many students and alumni would have had much different lives. We feel a mission and a place in West Virginia that allows our citizens to improve their lives, to accomplish their life goals, and to affect their communities and families for generations to come. When we talk about the awards, I want to point out that each of the awards being conferred today are meant to be emblematic of the greater communities we represent. When a professor is recognized for his or her teaching abilities, it really is an award for all of our faculty who do a marvelous job in their classrooms. When a staff member is recognized for their service to the university, the award is a recognition for the broad range of services that each staff member here contribute to the university. The same is true for the awards for our students. They're emblematic of the many excellent students who make substantial efforts to reach our goals and to advance the mission of the institution. While we can't recognize every single individual personally, we hope that you'll enjoy this time together and know that the tributes are for each of you. It's now my pleasure to introduce someone to you who's had a very special part in the life of the university, and he's also a friend. We suspect he'll inspire students, faculty, and staff when they hear his story. He's one of our graduates who's making a big difference in his community, and he's having a great time while he's doing it. He's a friend of the university. He's a proud business graduate and an alumnus who cares about Concord and the county from which he came. Kevin is a successful North Carolina businessman. He's achieved acclaim in the world of motorsports as a dealership owner and on the track. He graduated from Concord in 1989 with a degree in business administration. He currently lives in Winston-Salem, and he owns and operates 3 successful auto and motorsports dealerships in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina, Greensboro, and Winston-Salem. And he recently received several national dealership awards. His professional race team competes on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and Pro All-Star Series across the Southwest. Voted the most popular driver on the circuit, he's won more than 70 feature races and 2 track championships. On a personal level, Kevin is very lucky to be married to the beautiful Rhonda Belcher-Powell, who is also a Concord graduate and who now serves as an assistant principal in North Carolina. He has a wonderful son, Spencer, who's getting ready to venture out and go into the world of higher education as a student. His mother is a beloved member of the community in Princeton who once owned a small business there. And his mother-in-law is Garnetta Belcher, who many of you know. She was a Concord graduate and was reported to be everyone's favorite teacher prior to retirement. With all that said, I'm very happy to introduce you to our special alum and my friend, Kevin Powell.
Thank you, Dr. Boggess, for introducing me. First of all, I'd say, wow, what a great feeling it is to be back here on campus. It's almost as if you come over from North Carolina into the West Virginia mountains and arrive here on campus. It's like big arms come around you and just hug you and make you feel so good. It truly is a homecoming for me coming back home to West Virginia, to Princeton, but even more so when I get to pull onto the university campus. I was telling Dr. Boggles when I first arrived on campus today, I just immediately started smiling, and I had to make a loop in my truck all around campus, and I was processing all the great memories of walking to school and walking to this class and that class, and it was just a flashback rolling in my head. It's a great feeling. But I am honored to be here today. I'm thankful for the Alumni Association for reaching out and inviting me to be a part of such a great event, the Founders Day celebration. I understand that this is the year of renewal. As I was reflecting upon what I might speak today, on today, I knew I wanted to share something about my time here at Concord. Having recently gone through the rewrite on our employee handbook, not too exciting, but I did realize that the core values that we talk about in my company, the university was very instrumental in helping me identify what those core values are in myself, and it's how we lead our company today. So the core values that my company share, I learned a lot of those here at university. I had the foundation of my core values before I came to school. I had great parents and a great childhood. But while I was here, I learned so much more about myself. What I learned here helped me personally grow, and now it helps me grow others. It helps me grow my companies. These principles have certainly evolved and grown as I have over the years. And today I'd like to share my 5 principles that I use to guide myself, our employees, our teammates, and our company. The reason I say our company is because I've realized, and it took me a very short time to figure this out, you have to surround yourself by very, very good people. And so when you're looking for good people, you kind of have to make sure that you're identifying what their core values are to make sure they're aligning with your core values, right? So the first 3 are character, capacity, and attitude. Character, capacity, and attitude. Those are the first 3 core values that we look at when we're getting ready to interview someone or bring them into our organization. Character, I believe if you can't make good moral value decisions for yourself, then you're probably not going to be able to make them for our company. Sounds fair enough, right? Surprisingly, though, when you go through the interview process, you have to dig a little deeper sometimes to find out if their character does align with yours. The second one is capacity. You have to have a certain amount of capacity to learn. You don't have to be a rocket scientist unless you're a rocket scientist. Right? I mean, if you want to be a salesperson or a mechanic or work in accounting or whatever that job is that you're going to do for us, you have to have some aptitude and some capacity for that particular job. But you also have to have some capacity and willingness to learn, and sometimes that can be even more important than the capacity you currently have. So we look at capacity when we're looking at someone. The third is somewhat explanatory, and that's attitude. No one likes to be around someone with a bad attitude. But what I've recognized is in being around people, when they exhibit a bad attitude, it's usually something a little underlying that's developed that attitude, and it only compounds as things go on. So we look at people with character, capacity, and attitude. If you have those 3 things, it's kind of like you passed the litmus test, if you will. Now we'll think about possibly bringing you into our organization because you're going to somewhat align with what we're about. But then once they pass this, I make sure that we don't compromise any of those 3 principles, because what we've learned is if anything's compromised in an interview process or as we're getting to know someone, invariably it's not going to work out for them and it's not going to work out for us. So sometimes we have to dig a little deep to recognize what those principles are in that particular person. But the last 2 principles is heart and desire. With heart and desire, sometimes you really can't recognize heart and desire in an interview situation and getting to know someone in an interview process, right? We like to say the heart and desire is recognized kind of like going to war with somebody. There's good things and bad things. How much heart and desire does someone exhibit in creating their own success and helping our organization become successful? How much heart and desire does someone possess when things are tough? Can they overcome personal adversity, adversity in their job, adversity for our company? So that's where we found out heart and desire comes from. And we usually don't think we can find that out in the interview process. Like I said, we kind of have to get dirty with them a little bit and work alongside of them. So Character, capacity, and attitude. Those three things. And then if you have heart and desire, you'll be okay in our company. All right? Now what's interesting about this is if you walk into any of my stores, and if you're ever traveling through North Carolina, I'd love to have you stop by. If you can ask any of our employees if they've been in our company 2 weeks, we have to have a little bit of training, but if you can ask them, what's the 5 core principles of your company? They're going to tell you character, capacity, attitude, heart and desire, and that'll make you okay, me okay with the company. So as I was thinking about sharing these things with you today, I couldn't help but remember how when I was on campus, coming in contact with my peers, my fellow students I went to school with, faculty members and staff that helped define my character, that helped me recognize the capacity that I needed to keep on learning, that helped me develop such a good attitude, and certainly helped me find my heart and desire to be successful here as a student, to go on and be a successful businessman, husband, father, and everything else in my personal life. And we race a little bit too. While I'm here today, I would like to tell 2 quick stories about 2 people that's very instrumental while I was here. One is Dr. Islam. When I first came here, Dr. Islam, I took his entry-level course, and I think I got a C in it. And I thought, whew, this is my major? This is going to be tough. By the time I got to his 400-level courses, it was all A's, and he was just an amazing man in my education journey. Dr. Islam told me something that 30 years later still sticks with me, and I use it when I'm counseling employees or managers when I see them struggling with their capacity. I'd like to share that with you. He says, Kevin, you are very smart, but you are afraid to fail and you're afraid to succeed. Once you trust in your abilities, you can accomplish and master any subject matter or anything else you wish. I remember that 30 years ago. It was almost 30 years ago. Maybe not quite. I don't know. I know one thing, I have to carry these around to read sometimes. I didn't have to do that when I was here. My son made fun of me last night because the font was so big on my speech. And then secondly, would be Dr. Bogus. She mentioned that we are friends, and her son and I went all the way through middle school, junior high school here in West Virginia, and high school together and played baseball together. So we went to church together. We knew each other on a personal level. But I could give so many examples of how she helped and influenced me during my time here. She helped provide a roadmap and was there coaching and teaching and showing me in ways that I didn't even realize was going on at the time. Dr. Bogus has a way of helping you help yourself, find your own way, and I'm so grateful for that, because she just didn't pick me up and take me and set me down right here and say, this is what you're supposed to go do, Kevin, or this is how you're going to do it. She would counsel with me and teach me and guide me. And that brings me to a quote that my managers, they call them Kevinisms. Okay? I don't know if that's in jest or a compliment. I'm not sure. But my quote that I say more often than I probably should is, an effective leader leads people without them knowing it. An effective leader leads people without them knowing it. And that's exactly what Dr. Bogus did for me, and I'm sure she's doing it for the university as well. The last thing I want to leave you with today is the relationship of this year's theme, the year of renewal. Renewal is something that I found that can happen at any time depending on the person or the people or the organization or institution involved. It can happen sporadically or it could be planned. As I mentioned, the university, they start a new school year every year, so that's somewhat of renewal, right? For myself, I set goals like a lot of us do at the beginning of every year, and that's a renewal in itself. But during times of renewal, there's also a time for change. And change can be scary for some and exciting for others, right? Well, we cannot fear change to keep us from willing to renew something that's important to us or we think needs to be renewed, but we certainly can't not change because we're scared of the change. So it can be good and bad, but we can't let it affect our ability, our capacity, if you will, to exhibit it may be time to renew on something. I think it's important to change, and you can create change and start something new anytime you want to. I also believe it takes a tremendous amount of leadership and vision, gathering of data, testing, planning, listening, and countless other qualities to make the right decision of the right time of when change should occur and if it should occur at all. Being able to do all this and recognize all the benefits and the failures or successes that can come along with renewing something or changing something is incredibly important. And I think it separates great leaders, great organizations, and great institutions apart. I certainly commend the university on their leadership and the leadership of the team that's created all of Concord University the last several years. It's what our school was founded on, and it renewed itself several times in the last 143 years. It's gone through a couple of transformations, right? I'm so proud to be a Concord alumnus. It gave me a wonderful, wonderful education. I'm incredibly proud when I go places throughout the state of North Carolina, when I'm interviewing people, when I'm sharing with my people, to say that I got a wonderful education from Concord University, and I'm proud to be a Concord University alumnus. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powell, for your words of wisdom and inspiration. And thank you for being an outstanding alumnus of Concord University. Now, will the nominees for each of the faculty awards please come forward? It was a test.
It was a test.
The winner for Faculty Scholarship and Creativity Award is Dr. Stephen King. The winner for Faculty Service Award is Dr. Joan Pendergast. And the winner for Faculty Teaching Award is Mr. Kevin Bennington. Dr. King? Let's see. Rearrange ourselves. Okay. Okay. Dr. Pendergast. That's fine. Okay. And Mr. Here we go.
Classified Staff Awards will be presented by Mrs. Carolyn Cox, Chairperson of the Classified Staff.
I don't often get to talk before a group of people, so you're going to have to listen to just a little bit of my spiel before I sit down. On behalf of the classified personnel, I am very pleased to recognize the individuals for their contributions to Concord University. The classified staff consists of employees across the campus who serve in many different roles. We are the ones who come in early and shovel the driveways and the roads. We are the ones who collect the money and pay the bills. We recruit students and help them register for classes. We help students secure the funds for their educations. We are support personnel for faculty members. We are coaches and adjunct faculty. We organize special events such as today's celebration. We are the shoulders students cry on when they are overwhelmed, and we are the cheerleaders when they need some encouragement or to celebrate their achievements. The Presidential Service Award is for outstanding service to Concord University. To quote the late Joseph Marsh, "Come to learn, go to serve." As I announce your names, I'd like for you to stand, and then I will announce the recipient, and then I'd like for you to come up and stand while I say just a few sentences about each one of you. The nominees for the Presidential Service Award are William Bailey, Robert Curry, Christy Lamb. I think Christy is stuck in Bluefield, Virginia, has not been able to get here this week. Vicki Hart, Alan Smith, and Andrew Soljet. This year's recipient is Alan Smith. Alan has been employed in the admissions office at Concord University for 9 years. He is a 2005 graduate of Concord University and is a major student recruiter. Recruiting students, as we all know, is the lifeblood of this institution. Not only is he a highly regarded member of our admissions office as a senior admissions counselor, but he is arguably the best dressed man on campus. The Outstanding Service to Classified Staff Award is given to the individual who has contributed toward the betterment of the classified personnel at Concord. The nominees for Outstanding Service to Classified Staff Award this year are Mr. Gary Hilton, and me. This year's recipient of the award is Mr. Gary Hilton. Gary has been employed at Concord University for 18 years. This man is a pleasure to work with and nearly always has a smile on his face. Of course, he's married to Shirley, so why wouldn't the man be smiling? He began his career at Concord as our payroll accountant, and he moved from that post to his current position as contract specialist. He currently represents the classified personnel on the University Board of Governors. The Teamwork Award goes to the nominated individual who exemplifies the spirit of cooperation among the various offices at Concord. The nominees for Teamwork Award are Jeannie Cordell and Sarah, no. Jeannie Cordell and Sarah Dalton. This year's winner is Sarah Dalton. Sarah has been employed at Concord since July 2004. The person who nominated Sarah described her as, and I quote, professional and dependable and presents a great model for all employees to follow.
Non-classified staff awards will be presented by Mr. Dan Fitzpatrick, Director of Human Resources.
You've heard about the faculty, you've heard about the non-classified, or about the classified staff. Just a couple of words about the non-classified staff. Who do you think that might be? That's everyone else. We are appointed by the President, and we serve at her will and pleasure. You'll find among our numbers administrators, coaches, and directors, many of whom are also members of the faculty and who were formerly members of the classified staff. Some may even retain a right to go back to one of those groups from time to time. The Presidential Service Award nominees are, and I ask that you stand when I call your name, Kent Gamble, and Steve Meadows. The non-classified recipient of the President's Services Award for 2015 is an individual who regularly and routinely goes the extra mile with a smile. He works to make Concord University successful in all that he does. Works with each of us in that capacity. He is the Director of Networking and Support Services, Mr. Steve Meadows. Steve, would you come up? The Student Focus Award, I call it customer service since I'm in the customer service business. The Customer Service Award nominee is Kathy Ball, and the recipient of the Student Focus Award is Kathy Ball. The Teamwork Award goes to someone who has inspired our university to work as a team, to dream big dreams, to reach for the stars and to grasp a few. The nominee for the Teamwork Award for 2015 and the recipient of the Teamwork Award for 2015 is also our groundhog personality, Coach Garen Justice. Please stand for a photo. Yeah.
The Irma Bird Center Awards will be presented by Dr. Susan Williams, Director of the Irma Bird Center.
I'd just like to say, Coach Justice, I know a few people with some money, if you will disclose the location of the groundhog. That's also how ironic that you get the Teamwork Award. So congratulations. So it's with pleasure that we have some folks from Beckley down today. Again, the weather's terrible, so I'm very pleased that you were able to join us. I think most folks know that we were given official location status last fall. So after 30-some years of camaraderie in Beckley, we now have official location status. We're very proud of that. If you can take all of the awards and all of the people that we've mentioned thus far and roll them up into one tiny ball, there will be a handful of folks from the Beckley campus who exude and exhibit all of those qualities. And Tara Taylor is going to absolutely shoot me. She received the staff award last year but was unable to come. So we didn't get to stand and applaud, or she didn't get to stand up for us to applaud for her. So Tara, please stand and be recognized. I'm sure I'll pay for that one later. In any case, Tara, you are an absolutely wonderful person for all of us to work with. Again, exempt, non-exempt, classified, non-classified, all of those roles, you certainly help us out in so many ways, and we're very, very grateful. We would like to honor 2 other individuals today who help our campus in Beckley, the spirit, the customer service, the camaraderie, the family that we are, simply wouldn't exist without these individuals. So, Mr. Lilly, if you will come up and receive the Outstanding Faculty Award, and our Student Service Award is for Ms. Anita Rakes. We're so glad that you could join us today. I think the words above and beyond would be remiss with these 2 individuals, so I'm very proud to be able to give you these.
Student awards will be presented by Mr. Cody Boone, Student Government Association President.
Good afternoon, friends, Concord family, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Concord University's SGA and the rest of the student body, I bid you welcome to our 2015 Founders Day celebration. For the last 143 years, Concord has served as the epitome of our motto, come to learn, go to serve. The students here have always taken those words to heart, and the day of our founding seems to be a very fitting day to recognize the students that take the university's principles with them out into the real world and really take them to heart. We're presenting 4 awards today to the people that live what we as a university believe in. The Presidential Service Award, which is to an individual who has performed outstanding service within the campus community and beyond. Will the nominees for that award please stand as your name is called? Ms. Carly Brewer, Mr. Daryl Frazier, Ms. Melinda Hatfield, and Mr. Jaden Shepard. Will the winners please come forward and receive your award? The winner is Ms. Carly Brewer. Let's not have everyone leave again. The Mountain Lion Spirit Award is to an individual who epitomizes what it means to be a mountain lion. The nominees are Mr. Jaden Shepard and Ms. Ronnie Wood. And the winner is Ms. Ronnie Wood. The Outstanding Commuter Award to a commuter student who goes above and beyond on the campus and in the local community. The nominees are Ms. Katie Radcliffe and Mr. Jaden Shepard. And the winner is Ms. Katie Radcliffe. And finally, the Organizational Philanthropy Award to a student organization that exemplifies what it means to give back to the community. The nominees are Sigma Tau Gamma and Tau Kappa Epsilon. And the winner is Sigma Tau Gamma.
The Years of Service Awards will be presented by Mr. Dan Fitzpatrick.
As I call your name, will you please stand? And I would ask that, thanks, Al. And I don't have to ask quite as loudly now, but I would ask that as I call your name that you please stand. I want to say before I call out these names that it's great we were founded 143 years ago. And it's wonderful that we're here 143 years later. And it's thanks to people like all of you that the institution still stands today. And we're here to recognize a few of those folks who have helped make that longevity possible, some for in excess of 3 decades. So again, for 5 years of service, William Miller, please stand. And Paul Price. Catherine Southcott, 5 years of service, and we will have a special ceremony immediately following this to present the certificates and pins. Each of the individuals named have been with Concord University for 5 years. So, thank you. We move into the 10 years of service category, and we have quite a few individuals. William Bailey, please stand. He's already standing. Doug Becker, James Biggs Jr., Dr. Crick, Darrell Crick, Sarah Dalton, Kent Gamble, Nora High, Terry Philpott, Thomas Shelton, no. Laura Woolwine, she's there in the back, and Carolyn Worley. Each of these individuals have contributed 10 years of service to Concord University. "15 years of service." We have 3 individuals: Stephen Barrett, Jenny Cordell, Dr. Susan Williams. Please recognize them for 15 years of service. One score of service to both the state of West Virginia and Concord University: Rosalie Peck and Mark Stella. We're getting into the older generation now. 20, and they're still here, so there's no discrimination, right? 25 years of service to the state of West Virginia and to Concord University. We recognize Ms. Carolyn Cox. Coach Kenny Osborne. Coach. Michael Shoemake. Let's recognize these individuals one more time. "30 years of service." Back when I was a little pup. No offense, Mitzi, she knows how old I am. For 35 years of service to West Virginia and Concord University, Mitzi Klein. And for 25 years of service to the state of West Virginia, Pam McPeak. Please make these folks. That concludes the service recognition portion, and we will make the awards immediately following this ceremony. Thank you.
Dr. Viscusi will now read the proclamation of Concord University's Year of the Renewal.
You can hold that up there while I read it. Whereas Concord University celebrates a remarkable history from its establishment in 1872 through the present day, and whereas this institution has provided higher education under 4 names, witnessing a rebirth of purpose with the progression from Concord State Normal School to Concord State Teachers College to Concord College to Concord University. And whereas structures across campus, including the Marsh Library, the track, and the Towers Residence Halls, are receiving renovations that offer renewed possibilities for learning, gathering, living, and physical activity. And whereas rallying around fellow Concordians in need, cheering on champion athletic teams, and celebrating shared successes and accomplishments reinvigorates camaraderie within the university. Whereas educational opportunities are revitalized as academic offerings continue to expand at Concord's Athens and Beckley locations. And whereas the future beckons with new horizons for Concord students, faculty, staff, alumni, friends, and all Concordians. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we do hereby proclaim 2015 as the year of renewal at Concord University and invite and encourage the entire campus community to join in this pursuit. Dated this 25th day of February in the year 2015.
As the ceremony here is winding down, I want to thank a few people, especially for setting up this room. We moved from our standard place, which was over in the Fine Arts Center, and it took a little bit of change in the way things were set up, and we really appreciate the facilities people who made that happen, Aramark, the IT staff, members of the committee that work on this Founders Day tradition. I really appreciate all that you've done. I want to thank our speaker today, Kevin Powell, who is emblematic in many ways of the many alumni who have left our presence and gone on to be very successful in many, many venues, thanks to the people here in these seats, the staff members who supported them, and we really appreciate all that you do. I want to thank each of you for being here today, for understanding and remembering the importance of Founders Day and of the tradition of remembering those types of ceremonies and special times in the university's history. If you take a look in your program at pages 6 and 10, our staff that put that together kind of did some before and after pictures of the campus. They certainly make us aware of and I would have to say they were valiant efforts of people who started this place out on the top of a mountain where it snows a lot, where there was nothing much here, and through their efforts in order to educate their children and many generations of students to enhance their community, they showed great determination and great resolution, qualities that continue today. Our founders' foresight and their vision sustain us. In this year of renewal, we will celebrate the history. We will witness the renovation of structures that will better serve our students and the community. We will continue with the valuable service projects in the region. We will support our students in their efforts on the athletic field of challenge. And most of all, we will continue to strengthen, to build, and grow our academic purposes on campus and in the Beckley area. We're honored to be a part of the process of renewal, and we pledge to continue the academic traditions, the service responsibility, and the research challenges that present themselves. Thank you again for coming to join us today.
Please stand for the alma mater. The words can be found on the back cover of your program. Please join us upstairs for a small reception in the Erickson Alumni Lounge. The audience may be seated while the faculty remain standing for the recessional.